A very good morning to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Paul Nair. This is my second video, and today's topic we'll be talking about one very simple thing. Why do we work? Why do we go into business? Why do we do the things we do? Well, some of you might say, I work for the greater good of the country, I work for the greater good of the people, and I work for my family. But going to the bottom of it, the real reason is that you have got to generate revenue, you've got to generate income, profit. Now, when you work and you generate income, you have got dreams that you have set aside for yourself, maybe a 5-year dream, a 10-year dream, 10-year plan. The reason why I'm putting out today's video is, what if something were to derail that plan? And one of the things that I can think about is a serious ailment, illness, an accident happening to you, whereby your revenue, your income that you're earning every month or every year suddenly comes to a halt. It stops, Now, what do you do? Well, if you have a nest egg, or you have had some savings, then you would have to dip into those savings to take care of your basic needs, like your housing loans, your car loans, your credit card loans, your personal loans. It depends how exposed you are in the market. And for businessmen, sometimes they are quite highly exposed. Now, when you buy a house, your exposure level drops, because most people do take out something called mortgage reducing term assurance, which means that if you die, well, your loan is no more, because the insurance company will pay off your loans. But if it's not a case of death, if it's a case of serious illness, now you still have to service your loans. And if you say, I'm doing this for the greater good, then what greater good can you do if your income were to either slash down, or if you were to stop altogether, right? So because of this, I urge you to look at something we call income protection plan. Now, income protection plan basically means that we have a plan, right? Most insurance companies do have a plan, whereby in the event of you having a serious illness, then a lump sum money will be paid out to you, so long as your illness falls under the diagnostic criteria of the company, and that you can only check in your contract. Now, what is the basis of purchasing such protection, as you may call it, protection, financial protection against these illnesses? You should, rule of thumb, you should have a minimum of 5 years income protection in your plan. So if you were to go and revisit your plan and you find out that you have got, say, 500,000 of critical illness coverage, which you thought was quite sufficient, and your income per year is, say, R1,000,000, well, you are in a big deficit, because you are not fulfilling the rule of thumb which says minimum 5 years income replacement. You should have that standby. Even though you tell me that I have got enough money put aside, I don't think you'd want to touch that money if it's meant for your old age. So please go back and revisit your insurance policy and see whether your critical illness matches up to 5 times of your annual income. Now, when you talk about critical illnesses, the insurance companies have actually dissected it to many parts, and some insurance companies have got 38, some have got 42, some 45. But basically, the main ones are cancer, heart attack, and stroke. And from there, they dissect it and they get more and more and more coverages. But the most common ones are stroke, heart attack, and cancer. Now, for the ladies out there, a word of caution to you: even if your insurance company's critical illness plan covers on, say, cancer, and if you find out you've got breast cancer, and when the diagnosis comes back from the doctor and it states that it's breast carcinoma, and it's carcinoma in situ of the breast, high chances you will not be able to make a claim, because on the normal critical illnesses plans, carcinoma in situ is not payable. Now, in situ is a Latin word. It means on site, which means the cancer is not moving, right? And even cervical cancer, if it's cervical carcinoma in situ, then it will not be payable. But most companies do have a separate plan that can be added on to your critical illness, whereby they do pay for your carcinoma in situ of the cervix or of the breast. Now, you need to check this out with your agent, and you need to check on your contract whether it stipulates, because we have seen many cases whereby it is diagnosed as breast cancer, but when you read the report, it says breast cancer, carcinoma in situ of the breast. And the insurance company very clearly states that carcinoma in situ of the breast, carcinoma in situ of the cervix is not payable. So if you do not have that supplementary benefit added on, then you better get it done today. You get in touch with your agent and get it done today. Dear friends, you can actually WhatsApp me or you can email me if you have queries on critical illnesses. As I've said earlier in the previous video, I've been around for more than 20 years. I've seen my fair share of claims. I've seen my fair share of non-claims, non-claimable, and most of the time it's the duty of both. I would say the duty of the agent and also the duty of you as a consumer to actually ask for a policy review from your agent, right? So next time when your agent calls you and says that let's do a policy review, please grant him or her the access to do a review. Don't think that this guy is coming because he wants to sell me another policy. Don't go on that basis. Do a review, give him or her a chance to do a review for you, and then at least on a yearly basis, or maybe 2 years once basis, and then you should know what you're paying for. And if you've got queries on your insurance, please do ask your agent, okay? Because you can't just buy a policy and say that, I've done my part, I bought my policy, I'm paying my premiums, and after this I don't want to talk about insurance anymore. Well, you will be quite foolish to do that, because the person who is buying the insurance is you. The beneficiary of those benefits in the policy is you. And the person who's paying the premiums is you. So you got to know what you're paying for. And people do forget. In fact, I myself do forget sometimes as to what coverages I have. So you need to constantly look at it. I'm not saying on a daily basis, I'm saying at least on an annual basis or a biannual basis, go through your policy contract with your agent and ask him or ask her, are there any new updates available that I can add on? Is my coverage enough? When I bought this policy, maybe I was not married, but I've got 3 kids. What do you think? Do I need to upgrade my policy? You need to do this with your agent, right? You need to do this with your agent. Not only when they call you, you need to be proactive. You need to be proactive. And when you do this, then you will find that there will be less problems later on, and you will not be in the dark, and you will know that, okay, I'm paying this amount of premiums and this is my coverage. I'm quite satisfied with this. And still do an annual checkup on your policy benefits. So with that, I bid you adios, and we shall meet at my next video. Thank you very much.